This week's all about Boris. Welcome back. As we all know, the general election is fully underway now and the polls suddenly show Labour is catching the Tories. But as I trawl through the swamp of online conversation, I can't help but notice that there seems to be some equivalence between Johnson and Corbyn. So here's 30 reasons why Johnson is in his own league, the league of extraordinarily bullshitty Bullingdon boys. I challenge you to argue that this man isn't the most unfit candidate we've ever had, let alone actual Prime Minister and democratic leader of the United Kingdom. Number 1. Boris Johnson has threatened Channel 4's broadcasting licence because they put an ice sculpture where he should have been during the leaders' debate on climate change. The man who shut down Parliament, lied to the Queen, has avoided scrutiny as the leader of a country, now wants to take away our only free press on national TV. Number 2. Boris Johnson's famous dad, Stanley, earned a place in the working class hearts of Britain for being posh and old on I'm a Celeb. I'm not sure he feels the same way about us though. During an interview on Victoria, Derbyshire this week, when presented with a tweet from the general public calling Boris Pinocchio, Stanley Johnson defended his son by saying, "That requires a degree of literacy, which I think the great British public doesn't necessarily have. They couldn't spell Pinocchio if they tried." This was the day after it came out on social media that Boris, who was separated from the mother of his 4 adult children and has a 10-year-old child by an ex-lover, wrote that the kids of lone mothers are ill-raised, ignorant, aggressive and illegitimate. Whilst working class men are likely to be drunk, criminal, aimless, feckless and hopeless, and single mothers irresponsible. Sorry, what was that about Corbyn not having what it takes to lead? But this guy can. I'm not following him. I don't know about you. Number 3. Boris Johnson was sacked in 1987 from The Times, a job he got through family connections after making up a quote from his own godfather Colin Lucas about Edward II's palace. Number 4. Chris Patton, BBC Trust guy, stated that when Johnson was EU Commission reporter for the Daily Telegrapher, he was one of the greatest exponents of fake journalism, way before fake news. Number 5. When he was latter assistant editor and chief political columnist, Johnson referred to Africans as pickaninnies and watermelon smiles, and also championed European colonialism in Uganda. In another article, he called gay men tank-top bum boys. Number 6. In 1995, a 1990 phone call of Boris supplying information to get a journalist beaten up was uncovered, but he never lost his job as a potential member of Parliament. Number 7. When writing for GQ, they complained about the number of parking tickets they got for each car that he tested. Number 8. At The Spectator, he earned a reputation as someone who was regularly absent from the office, meetings and events, and as a poor political pundit as a result of some way off predictions made in the mag. He was also publicly criticised by his father-in-law Charlie Wheeler for allowing Spectator columnists to publish racist and anti-Semitic language in the magazine. Number 9. In 2004, he published an article in The Spectator suggesting Liverpudlians were hooked on grief over Hillsborough and partly blaming the whole tragedy on drunken fans. 10. Number 10. Number 10. In 2004, he was caught publicly lying again about his relationship and terminated pregnancies with another Spectator columnist. He was dismissed of his job as Shadow Arts Minister. Number 11. He received criticism during the early weeks of his mayoral administration, largely because he was late for 2 official functions in his first week on the job and because after 3 weeks he went on holiday to Turkey. Number 12. A man who believes he couldn't live on 140 grand a year, so took up another job at 250 grand while he was mayor. His team made him promise he'd donate a fifth of that salary to charity to make it look better. He resented the idea and never paid in full. He later went on to say 250 grand was chicken feed, a wage most will never see in their lives, no matter how hard they work. Number 13. He built on his house without planning permission. Number 14. He also stood accused of failing to publish an independent report on air pollution commissioned by the Greater London Authority, which revealed the city breached legal limits on nitrogen dioxide levels. Number 15. He remained largely supportive of the bankers during the crash and also Rupert Murdoch during the international phone hacking scandal. Number 16. Johnson was accused of covering up pollution ahead of the games by deploying dust suppressants to remove air particulates near monitoring stations. Number 17. Number 17. In February 2012, he criticised London's St Patrick's Day gala dinner celebrations, linking them to Sinn Féin and branding the event lefty crap. Number 18. In 2014, Johnson published his biography of Winston Churchill, The Churchill Factor, with media emphasising how Johnson repeatedly compared himself to Churchill throughout. Number 19. He bought 3 German-made water cannons as mayor without waiting for clearance from the Home Secretary and then had to sell them at a discount price. It's number 20! In April 2016, in an article for The Sun, in response to a comment by President Barack Obama that Britain should remain in the EU, Johnson said that Obama's views may have been shaped by an ancestral dislike of Britain owing to his part Kenyan background. Johnson supported the Saudi Arabian-led intervention in Yemen and refused to block UK arms sales to Saudi Arabia, stating there was no clear evidence of breaches of international humanitarian law by Saudi Arabia in the war in Yemen. Number 22. In September 2016, human rights groups accused him of blocking the UN inquiry into Saudi war crimes in Yemen. Number 23! In May 2017, during the 2017 UK general election, he was criticised by a woman for discussing ending tariffs on Indian whiskey in a Sikh temple in Bristol. I may add, alcohol use is prohibited in Sikhism. He later expressed regret that the protester held differing views to his on alcohol. Number 24. In September 2017, he was criticised for reciting lines from Rudyard Kipling's poem Mandalay whilst visiting a Myanmar temple. The British ambassador who was with him suggested it was not appropriate. This is a vulgar man, not just a brash politician, a vulgar man. Number 25. In October 2017, he faced criticism for stating that the Libyan city of Sirte could become an economic success like Dubai. All they have to do is clear the dead bodies away. This is a city that we had just bombed. 2 and 6? Hockey sticks. In June, he was reported as having said, "fuck business," when asked about corporate concerns regarding a hard Brexit. 27. My lucky number. Happy birthday, Yak. In December 18, Johnson was ordered to apologise to Parliament for failing to declare 50 grand worth of earnings. The Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards found that the error was not inadvertent and that Johnson had failed on 9 occasions to make declarations within the rules. Number 28. On the 19th of July, Reuters reported that Johnson, as well as his political allies, had been actively supported by the former Russian oil tycoon Alexander Temerko, who became a major donor to the Conservative Party after he fled Russia in 2004 to evade criminal charges. Temerko said he was on friendly first-name terms with Johnson, and it's funny because the Tories are literally sitting on a report into Russian funding and Russian interference. As much as I am no part of this Russiagate BS over in the States and here with the Skripals. 29. Boris has been all over the media promising 40 new hospitals for the country, but when you dig a little bit deeper into the manifesto, it turns out it's just 6. Number 30! So, here we are, number 30. We meet again. It's been a long journey, but here we are at the very end. He lied about Brexit. He lied about nurses. He lied about Labour's manifesto. He lied about the government ever having sat at the table with the US. All of this, and bear in mind, this isn't even all of this. We could keep going if people's attention spans would allow us to. Leads me to a question he was asked by Paul Brand of ITV this week, where Paul leads up to it by giving him an opportunity to really put the trust question to bed. He then asks him plainly, "Can you look at me in the eye and tell me you've never lied in your political career?" I swear to God, he holds his gaze, he stares him squarely in the eyes, much like he did to our concerned hospital parent, and tells him, absolutely not. I've never tried to deceive the public. I may have been mistaken, but I have never deceived. That ladies, gents and non-binary is our leader. That's what other countries see when they look at us. They see us licking the boots of those that literally look down at us and crease, and they crease at us. No, we can't say that, Bucket. Oh, hi guys. This has been another episode of YakChat. I've been Yak. Like, comment and subscribe because we've got bucket loads of content coming. Like, comment and subscribe. We've got bucket loads of content coming.